welcome to Blackbriar Gaming. We have here the Dropsite Preview. I'm going to watch it and talk through it with you. Now, I have watched this once already live. I'm not doing this live because that would be a crazy thing to do. But it was great, and I'm so keen to talk through it as we go. So let's just jump in. Hopefully my voice is pretty good over that noise. Here we go. So we've got this wild, let's get my mouse the hell out of here. We've got this wild historical documentary thing up front, which was really cool. When I was watching this live, there were 20,000 people watching it, which is insane. Obviously, it was 4 a.m. here in Australia. I wasn't actually planning on getting up and watching it, but then my body just naturally woke up because I must have been in my heart of hearts so hyped for Heresy that I couldn't actually sleep through it. So I had to get up. My brain wasn't going to let me get back to sleep. Got up and watched it, and I was not disappointed that I did. Yeah, look, this documentary thing up the front was just so much fun. Seeing where it came from. There's going to be a lot of people watching this for the first time and discovering Heresy, just going on a Heresy journey for the first time with this reveal. And I think the way they've taken new players on this journey, as well as just give so many treats for Heresy veterans, is so nice. And this historical piece here, right at the front, is a great example of it. We've come so far. Oh, 2006. What a time. How old was I then? 26, 18 in 2020. It's just a perfect time for Heresy to start getting into my life. The novel series, I've actually started reading it again. I've started with Horus Rising. Was it last night or the night before? Oh, these black books, people. 1 to 9. If you don't have them and you are a Heresy fanatic, you need to track these bad boys down. Look, they'll cost you $250 a pop, but they are worth it. I've obviously got all 9 upstairs because of course I do. I had to track a few down even once they had stopped publishing them to finish my collection, and I did. And I don't regret it. And I love those books more than really anything else, maybe in my entire life. But here we go. We got the novels. Siege of Terror series. That just dragged. Am I wrong? Did it drag a little? Was that just me? It was a slog by the end of it. And here we are, 2nd edition. Those Centurions were so busy. And I can't wait to talk about the Centurions we have in 3rd edition. Oh my goodness. Oh, Legions Imperialis. I had so many hopes for you. Unfortunately, in Australia, it was just really hard because nothing released. It was so hard to get your hands on anything that it just died out here. I think some people now are trying to revive it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is what we're here for. But what a fun intro. So dramatic. I am here to celebrate Horus Heresy. My goodness. And these two lads are definitely here for it. They're a bit loud. A bit loud in my ear. I'm gonna turn that down a lithow do I do that? Alright, don't mind me. Don't mind my little mouse popping in here. Alright. It's got a bit of Iron Warrior stripes going on that laptop there. Before we do, I should introduce the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Let's throw the camera over to the Lawmaster. This guy's a character. Firstly, love that haircut. What a style. He answers questions throughout the event, which was pretty cool. And we actually got some actually deep stuff out of him. That was cool. Oh, we're about to get the trailer. The new trailer is about to hit. Oh my goodness, it's so good. These guys gave us so much more than I thought. And this went for so much longer than I thought it would. We are here for a slog, people. This was an absolute slog of a reveal. I've seen nothing like this before. I don't even know if 40k reveals have gone for this long before. There was so much that came through in this. They really went all out for this Heresy reveal. They're taking this very seriously, and I think 3rd edition is something they're really dedicated to, and you'll see why as we get into it. I'm obviously tuning in from Australia. 4 a.m. So rude. They clearly do not care about the convicts down here. Otherwise, they would not have done that to us. Worth it though. Getting up was definitely worth it. There's going to be so many Australians waking up just now as I'm talking through this. It's still about 6:30 in the morning that will be seeing this for the first time right now. Oh, there's so much hype happening right now down under. I can feel it. I can feel it all around me, in the air. Adam does love a chat, doesn't he? Iron Warriors are not a bad choice. I tell you what, for this new edition, if you're heading down an Iron Warriors avenue, you are heading in a great direction. I do have an Iron Warriors army. I will probably be adding some stuff to them, which I haven't done for a long time. White Scars. Now that's something I can get on board. The White Scar Mark II miniature that we'll see a little later on is just so pretty and so fitting too. As they even talk to these guys know their heresy stuff, which is good to see. All right, where are they? Yeah, they are, Alex.
America, Brazil, Switzerland, Sweden,
Australia, shout out. That's what I'm talking about. We heresy real hard down here for the size that we are. We go pretty good for heresy. Hopefully, well, at least we have in the past. It's died off a little recently for obvious reasons. My hype 2 was dimmed for a while there, but 3rd edition hopefully will bring the boys back to the yard, back to the heresy yard. And we'll get some good events going again. Those narrative events, especially that the boys up in Brisbane run, the Eye of Horus boys, they're just peak heresy. They're done so well, and they're so much fun. But here we go. Is it time yet?
Eddie's already said how the run of this thing's going to go. Over the next hour or so, we're going to
hour. Wild. These guys must have been wrecked by the end of it.
Never seen before, and it should be
I think the trailer's coming. This trailer is so good.
You kick off a preview like this, and with a brand new animated cinematic trailer.
Yes, please, Adam. Give us that trailer. Here we go. So we kick off. You go watch this trailer without me talking over it first, if you haven't already, because you need to hear it. It's just so good. Just Valda and what's her name? I'll have to look that up. Now this is a painting done by the Emperor to just put his plans together in his mind. So good. Look at that. Look at the quality of this cinematic. It's so nice. The quality won't be as good in my video that I'm showing you at like 720p or whatever I'm putting out. I will have to do something about that. Oh, this is so... I think the time here that we're talking about is pre-Dropsite Massacre, when they've sent the legions to stop Horus. How deep does the rock go? He had an inkling. He had an inkling that it went further than just those 4 legions. And then we cut to the Dropsite. Oh, and this Iron Warriors guy. Oh, he's like, yep. We've betrayed, and I'm all about it. And here we saw a Fellblade, and right here at this moment, I'm like, putting a Fellblade right at the opening of this trailer, instantly, I'm like, does that mean we're getting a plastic Hellblade? Now, that shield, did you see that shield just there? I think that that big platform boy, that that quad accelerator platform, look at him coming out of the Land Raider. I think that platform is going to have some kind of shielding on it. Here we see a disintegrator weapon in action, that poor little servo skull. That was so cool. And were those Iron Warriors just lying down? Were they lying down, hiding in ambush, and they've just popped up? Oh, that guy is so sick. So that's the Centurion that we're seeing in the box. Now the Sat-9 Terminators come in, and they've got their artwork on the shoulder pad that they've painted them with in the box, which is really cool. But these boys in live action live action is not quite the right word, in animation, look so sick. I'll tell you what, the Sat-9 I am much more excited about after this trailer and this reveal than I was previously. But this Centurion is just so cool. And he just single-handedly here goes to take on this Sat-9 Dreadnought with his Melter combi confirmed in the kit. We've seen that, haven't we? Oh, here we go. We're back to Terra. Oh, Malkador! It's animated Malkador! I love this conversation. He's not surprised at all, which is wild. I love that. Do you wonder if they might be right? This is just pure like heresy, mystique, and intricacy. Oh, he looks so good. Does this mean we might be getting a Malkador miniature? Geez, I hope so. I would love Malkador to be in this game, and him being this part of this trailer here, I don't know, maybe it's a little sneaky hint that might be happening. But that trailer was sick. It was so good. We saw disintegrator weapons. We saw that new platform with that shield, which was interesting. I don't think we saw the Sat-9 Praetor in there though, did we? I might have missed it. I don't think so, though. But that trailer was out of control. That is so much better than what we got for second edition. Here's the box set. All right, here we go. Wow, we're already on to the next thing here. All right, no, they are talking about the trailer a bit more, which is great. It confirms it was his fan that we saw those salamanders and our warriors fighting on it, and that's just why this is so exciting for me. In the second edition, where was that trailer set? Like, maybe Siege for Chthoniya? Who knows what was going on there? But Back to Isfahan is just absolute peak heresy for so many players. This is where it's where the heresy kicked off, right? So taking us back there, focusing on it from a rules perspective, from a trailer perspective, from a miniatures perspective, it's so nice to see. This is heresy as it should be. They're not trying to do something too different. They're just bringing us back to what the players really want. Just Terra chats here, Palace chats, classic. I will be watching that trailer a couple of times. We see some pretty crazy stuff in there. I love the effect of the disintegrator weapon. That's actually got me just itself a little excited for disintegrator weapons. And we get a good close up of them later in the trailer, and they look really good. They've got that real kind of unification crusade era look to them. I'm all about the unification era weird tech going on. We see it. Look how full this box is of plastic. It's just packed to the absolute top with sprues, which is so good to see. That's a new range roller. I don't know if I've seen that before. That little hole thing, does that... I'm not sure what that's about. Does that mean that it clips on and acts as like a double one? I don't think so. But I think it's a new design for that range roller that looked way better than Whippy Sticks. Alright, here we go. Firstly, those shoulder pads, they're now one piece again. Thank goodness. Thank the Emperor. We have shoulder pads that do not have to go together from two separate pieces and have gaps in them. We've got some real shoulder pads here, people. It's all coming together. Thank goodness. All right. Legion, the Mark II. Oh my goodness. These look so good. These Mark II Marines look so freaking good. What an amazing redesign. Check out that chain blade. We see it a little better soon. But that chain blade, I think it's inspired, some were saying, by the Mark I Beakies, like those really early Beaky Marines that came out a long time ago, those first plastic ones. And I think that chain blade's inspired by it. And it looks so nice. Yeah, you can see it there with the chevrons on it. Look how good that chain blade bayonet looks. Oh, so good. I'm going to have to get those on some miniatures because it looks outrageous. The Sergeant looks great. Power Sword looks great. Plasma Pistol looks amazing. Everything here from the Mark II Marines are just pure art. These are a great adaptation. And now we're getting into veterans is interesting. It's like, can we not have normal support squads with disintegrator weapons? And the answer is we might not be able to, because they've always talked about veteran legionaries with disintegrator weapons when they've been mentioned and when we saw the leaks. So it might be that to get these disintegrators into your army, it has to be with veterans, maybe because they are really pre-heresy tech, like unification level technology here, early Crusade era. So many disintegrator weapons. This is wild. Is that a disintegrator pistol that we can see there? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. We've got a heavy disintegrator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just crazy. So many disintegrator weapons. I think they said you can fit out a full 20 Marines with disintegrator rifles and then extra disintegrator weapons on top of that. Look at that cabling on that disintegrator weapon. That's what I mean about that unification tech. It just looks old school. Dark Angels they're gonna go nuts for these boys. And I can't help but feel they're just going to be super powerful. Disintegrators from memory in second edition did absolute work. I'm pretty sure they have the gets hot rule. It'll be interesting to see if they keep that. Because having large swathes of your army killing itself as it gets hot, I don't hate it. It's a bit of fun. Look at that heavy one. That looks kind of cool.
You can paint this, the contents of this entire box set.
And here we get the different legions. Oh, yes, please. These guys, that White Scar miniature, oh my goodness, in Mark II is so nice. Oh geez, that's got me thinking. That's really got me thinking about what my next army is going to be. But it's so nice going through all the legions here. I don't think did they touch every single one? Have we missed one already? Blood Angels. We've got Iron Hands. The World Eater looks so good. Ultramarines. What really looked good was the Saturnine Terminator in Ultramarine scheme, actually. That looked really good. Death Guard looks great. Thousand Suns. What fun. But wait for the absolute betrayal, right? They're going through each of the legions here, one by one. Get ready for some Raven Guard. Here it comes. Alpha Legion next? No, they cut it. They cut it before Alpha Legion. What a betrayal. Here we go. What do we got here? This is the Centurion Sprue and all the little bits and bobs there. So many pieces to that miniature. His cape comes in multiple bits. I don't love that. It is what it is. But that's a good looking model. I don't think that's too busy at all. The Centurions that we got in the second edition box were so busy. This guy doesn't look too busy for me. You take off those little round, whatever they're called, medallion things on that kind of front on his chest there. You take those off. And I think this, if you can take those off and not put them on, I think this miniature is actually fantastic. With them on, look, he's fine. I'm not really that into that kind of aesthetic with the round stuff everywhere. I don't know why they suddenly are, but I think that miniature looks absolutely fantastic. If you can snip off those roundy boys, I think he is fantastic. All right, here we go. We're into the platform. We see there the square piece that was hinted at. We are not getting square whatever drop pods as they hinted. That is the base of the platform, the quad accelerator platform here. This thing's big too. They show it in scale a little bit soon. There it is. I think it looks pretty good. I really like the rounded kind of turret in the middle there. It's not too boxy, which is nice. It gives me that definitely Heresy era vibes. I don't think that's 40k-ish at all. I think that suits Heresy beautifully. And did you hear that? You can drop it down into battle. So I assume we're going to be able to deep strike these things. So these deep striking with a bunch of drop pods sounds not only like a lot of fun, but pretty powerful. Putting these down, jumping in on a flank to hit into the side armor of some vehicles. That sounds real nice there. Quad accelerated cannons is wild. So we've seen half. We've seen half so far. Now I think we're about to get into the Saturnine boys. And I tell you what, when I saw the leaks, and I saw the Saturnine in the leaks, I'm like, do I like them? I don't know. I don't know if I do. And then I saw them. And then I saw them here. Not those silhouettes. The actual miniatures. And we see them here. We see them here with some slightly different poses. With some advancing poses, a bit of maneuverability to them, stepping forward, posing with his gun forward there. And once they get a bit of agility into the way they're moving or into their poses, to hint at a bit of maneuver, I think they look pretty good. I don't love the salamander paint scheme. I find the way they've done the shoulder pads there and the lava kind of effect on them, I find that quite jarring. But you'll see when you get some different Legion color schemes for them, they actually look really good. And I am once again pretty excited about them. Love the story behind them here. Vulcan just unlocking some unification era secrets. Here's some different color schemes. And then sharing them. There's that Fellblade again, people. Oh, it's coming. Now that Praetor is busy. He is so busy, but there's something sweet we see real soon, which brought me fully in. Look at them in animation. What fun. There's some cool stuff going on. But yeah, I think without the lava shoulder pads, they look better. And we'll see some examples of those in a second. That's like a heavy plasma bombard on that big boy with smaller plasma bombards on the regular Sat9 Terminators. The rolls for these are going to be wild. They're going to be putting out so much damage. Here they all are. All right, and look, they look pretty good there from a bit of a close up, different angle, not super blurry. I think they're pretty good. And that's the salamander ones. Wait until we see the other Legion ones. All right, but he's going to talk about the sprue first. Look at that sprue. That's wild. So I think that's 3 miniatures there on that sprue. Jeez, they pack them in the way they design them these days.
6 total across the box.
These shoulder pads do have multiple parts to them. No doubt, probably like each shoulder pad probably has 3 separate parts to it, which is crazy. These are big boys. We see a scale later on against some regular Mark II miniatures and cataphracti and whatnot, and they are just absolutely huge. What do these fists have on them? They have some kind of... If you look under that fist on the right-hand side there, there's a bit of a flamer-ish thing going on, which might be one of the new weapons that they mention later on, like cacophonic something or another. There's new weapons coming, and they all sound super unification-y, just dark, pre-heresy technology that the Emperor unleashed on the galaxy that we'll get to play around with. So here we go. So I think with 2 plasma bombards, it looks a bit silly, but when you've got 1 plasma bombard and a disintegrator in the other hand, I think they look kind of sick. I'm into it. I like the helmets with those lenses. Those, I don't know, what do you call them? Amplifying lens thingies. Allow them to, no doubt, enhance, to zoom in. Yeah, so you can double up, you can switch between them. So you get 6 of each weapon, is I think what he's saying there. Oh, look at that Dark Angels one! Yes! Yes, please. So now we get to see some alternative Legion paint schemes. And I went from, oh, look at that Iron Hands. Honestly, that looks so good. I went from going, oh, I'm not sure about Saturnine Terminators to, oh no, I am so on board. Look at that White Scar! My goodness! Oh, that's wild. What a job on that, the painting on that shoulder pad there. And I think the Ultramarines one looks really good. Just perfectly suited for it. Yeah, no, these are great. Hopefully there are a bunch of people who are on the fence. There were a lot of doubters I saw initially when we got the leaks, but hopefully this is taken them on the journey and built their hype. Now we've got an Alpha Legion guy. Thank you for that. It took long enough. Their legs are quite stubby, aren't they? They've got a huge torso, which is fine. You wouldn't want the legs being too long. Back to the Dark Angel, and I think Dark Angel Sat9 is just pure Dark Angel goodness. That's what they're all about, right? Now the Praetor. Is that whole thing the Praetor? That is a ridiculous sprue for a character. Look how big it is. That's wild. A lot of options. That's what I'm talking about. So this guy is fine, right? I like the marbling paint job they did there, but he's a lot. He has a lot going on. I don't love this guy. In my mind, I was like, oh yeah, I'll put him together. Will I ever use him? I'm not sure, but just wait for it, people. Here it is. Oh my goodness, look at this. Look at this. It looks so freaking good. Oh my goodness. That axe, I think they called it a Saturnine axe because of course everything needs Saturnine on the front of it now. But this miniature is amazing. I've already posted this on my socials because that miniature for me is probably my favorite thing to come out of this reveal. Because I was slightly disappointed with this guy, but then when I saw the Axie boy, I was just like, oh my goodness, yes. I'm all about this Saturnine journey. Take me on it. Get me these miniatures. I want to put them together and I want to paint them up. And there's even like a third version that they show. You know, this guy. Check out the Iron Warriors guy. He's got those, like, what are they called? I can't remember. Those tabbity little pieces that come down. Those leather straps. That looks so good. Look at that pose with like the fist in the right reaching up. That's it. That's the only time we see that guy. They just throw him out there. Maybe if you jump onto the Warhammer community website, they've got a picture of that Iron Warriors one. Because the alternate sculpts, and it's wild that they picked the one they did for the box art and the box set, kind of, you know, box whatever. Because the other 2 alternates there, I think, are so much better than the Salamander's Saturnine Praetor that we've seen. Those alternate versions are great. And here we have the Saturnine Dreadnought. He's a big boy. Look, I think he's fine. Once again, I think he looks better when he doesn't have lava shoulder pads. I just find them a bit jarring. I get why they're doing it. They're trying to do some cool, funky art, be a bit different. But I think it just makes them look a little awkward. I think now that we're seeing some alternate paint schemes for them, we can really... I think I'll enjoy them a lot better. I don't know if we do see an alternate paint scheme for the Saturnine Dreadnought. I don't believe so. They don't have just like 6 of these boys painted up because they would have taken a bit of time. I love the chest weapons. Can I find the name for them? I think they talk about them in a little bit. Where are we? Here we go. They can either be armed with those chest weapons, the photonic incinerators, or concussion resonators. How heresy are those names, right? What fun. I can't wait to see what those do. But I love they're bringing new stuff to the Heresy as well. Second edition was such a rehash of what we already had. There was barely anything new brought in. But with third edition, they're really stepping forward and bringing some new stuff to the Heresy, which I think is great. It's going to make it fresh again. Make games interesting, new. We'll be able to discover what this new stuff does as we go, and it's going to bring a lot of new options and a lot of new different types of lists and new different types of games to Heresy. Whereas it feels like second edition, we're doing the same kind of stuff we'd been doing for the previous, how many years? 7, 8 years, however many were for the first edition of Heresy. Here we go. That transfer sheet is wild, and there's everything together in a non super blurry teased way. I have no doubt that people will not be making two forces out of this. They will 100% be putting this all into an army, but then maybe not, right? I mean, do you want Saturnines in the same army that you want that quad accelerator platform? And the answer is maybe not. So you might be dividing the units up between them, but the whole box set has that very kind of stoic, what's the word I'm looking for here? Walking forward in a slow and deliberate manner, plodding, big miniatures, really static force as a whole, which is great because the second edition box, of course, was all about that maneuverability and that Mark 6 and getting in there and being nice and flexible, whereas this is just, you're big, you're hardy, you can take some hits, you're not going anywhere fast, but you're deep striking in. And I'm not sure at what point we hear it, but they definitely talk about those veins in the Saturnine shoulder pads. That's what enables their teleport ability. So I imagine we're going to see deep strike rules for those Saturnine Terminators inherent to their rule set. You're not going to have to do all kinds of shenanigans to activate it like you have to do with Terminators. I think they're going to be teleporting in base, and I think that's going to make them really good because those weapons, they've got a no doubt pretty short range. So being able to teleport in will be fantastic, and that's going to make them real powerful on the battlefield, and where I think we'll see quite a few of them. All right, what else we got here? I took a lot of notes. But I haven't even really been looking at them. I mean, mostly just talking absolute madness as these things come because it's so exciting. But now that we've got Adam and Eddie talking, I can have a quick look at my notes. There you go. All right. Special and heavy weapons they're talking about work across the different marks, which is really good to hear. That's what they were saying in the background just before. And he was just saying there's a bit of a loyalist and a bit of traitor alternate bits and bobs that come in the box, which is cool. So you buy the box, whether you want to go loyalist, whether you want to go traitor, you can kind of theme your troops, your centurions and praetor, I imagine, towards that direction, which is really nice. So the box set works for everyone. Those centurions and praetors have alternate sculpts that mean you can send them in either direction you want, traitor or loyalist, which is great because second edition, from memory, that those character models in the box had no alternate pieces whatsoever. And look, a lot of people did some great conversion work with them, but to have those alternate pieces and alternate sculpts come in the box is really nice. It means that you don't have a loyalist looking centurion that you have to wedge into your traitor army just because that's the box you bought and that's what you have to work with. That's so nice. Here we go. We get to see some scale here. So here we've got the platform. All right.
And I think we'll compare this in size to one of...
And then they put a Mark II boy next to it. It's big. It's a big platform. That's going to take up some serious space on the table. So deep striking that is going to be interesting. We'll see what the new deep strike rules look like. But geez, you're going to need... If it does deep strike, I'm assuming, because they keep talking about it dropping in, but you're going to need to find a nice empty piece of real estate to put those bad boys down, and especially if you're coming in with a few. And I think you'll be able to afford a few too. How many points do we think that's going to be? I don't think it's going to be more than 150 points maybe? So you'll definitely be able to fit quite a few into a list and then just go to absolute town into people's flanks with bulk accelerator shots. Look at that Saturnine. He is huge. And this guy's walking forward a bit, right? How much better do they look when they're not in that just static pose? Oh, those poor cataphracti. No, sorry, Tartarus. They're so tiny. Those old school Terminators are so small. That's something they need to redo. And I think we actually see maybe a bit of a hint of that later on, right near the end of the reveal, actually. Yes, talking about teleporting right there, right? They're big. They're so big. And that's really nice. You want these kind of Terminators towering over the normal troops, right? The Tartarus are a bit of a sad joke these days. So having a Terminator that's big and bulky on the table is really nice. Look at this Praetor. He's so ridiculous. He's so tall. That rock just gives him a few more inches, doesn't it? They do love standing on rocks.
The Saturnine armor for the Praetors actually allows them to go toe-to-toe with some of the kind of
Saturnine armor lets them go toe-to-toe with Primarchs? Wild call. I don't think that's going to be true at all. But from a size perspective, and I think they've actually done it really well. The shoulder pads obviously really bring them up. And the top of his shoulders are at the eye level there with Vulcan. The head much lower down. So I think they've scaled them quite nicely with the Primarch models. So that it all fits nicely. They're much bigger than your standard troops, which is fitting, but they're not bigger than a Primarch, thank goodness, because that would have been ridiculous. So I think when it comes to the scaling across the line, I think with the Saturnine they've done it quite well, but now we're about to see the Dreadnought. Oh my goodness. It's so big for that to come in this box set. Just a giant Dreadnought coming in the initial box set is a lot of fun. Look at him, he's huge.
Saturnine Dreadnought, absolutely.
And once again, once I think we get to pose that thing, have it kind of striding forward, I think it's going to look pretty good.
Have a great time on this, fan.
Yeah, look at that stride forward and how much better it makes a Dreadnought look. That static pose with its legs splayed and weapons down to the side, that's never much fun. They always do it too. I guess they want to show off as much as the model as possible, so they want you to get that really good front-on view of it, which is why they put the models in this manner for the box set art. Which makes sense, but yeah, once you have it striding forward, that Doridio? I've never really learned how to say that. It's such a good miniature, and here comes the Leviathan for scale. He's still so much bigger than the Leviathan, and the Leviathan is so big, but he's even bigger. What an absolute beast. He's going to be dominating some tables. How many points do we think this thing is? It's got to be at least 300 points, right? Thank goodness people aren't going to be fitting too many of these in their army.
It certainly makes an all-Dreadnought Horus Heresy army.
He mentions here an old Dreadnought Horus Heresy army. Don't do it. Don't you do it, Games Workshop. Don't you give us more old Dreadnought rules. They were a disaster in 2nd edition, and with these boys, no doubt even worse in 3rd edition. If any of y'all thinking about a list with 5+ of these Saturnine Dreadnoughts in it, you're an animal. And you need to take a good, hard, long look at in the mirror and think about what you're doing to the people you play against. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Rules Primer. This is something I was not expecting. Here we go. This guy just throws random stuff out there. Who is this guy? We didn't even get introduced to this guy at the start. Alright, here we go. Abilities? Okay, new tools. Epic Challenge is interesting. So it's like there's going to be extra dual challenge rules, which is cool. I can dig it. I mean, Sergeant versus Sergeant being kind of the same drama as a character versus character doesn't make sense, so I'm into it. Flexible army building. Supported by allies is the big one there, so it sounds right you're going to be able to have all kind of allies working together. Tactical status is really interesting, and they took a bit more about this afterwards, and it means kind of the idea of pinning, but there's more than just pinning now. It's not just you can't do anything, maybe you're a bit stunned. What was the other one? I can't remember. Alright, we're moving on. Advanced characteristics. I wonder if they use the word advanced there, because you don't have to use them in kind of base games that you play, but there's all kinds of new stats that we'll see in a minute for the Space Marines here. Weapons are reworked. They have damage now, which I actually really like, because it lets them really differentiate the difference between weapons that are good at tanks and good at infantry, as opposed to las cannons just being good at everything. So I don't know if there's any haters out there already around the damage piece, noting that's a bit 40k-ish, but I'm a big fan of it, because that differentiation is what it's all about. I don't want just to see armies full of las cannons. I love this little box. Isn't that little box adorable? Alright, here we go. They're going to break it open. We're going to see a rulebook.
I just broke the seal. There we go. Right. So
that's fun. That's a fun little box.
Reference compendiums, one for me, one for you, so we can play a game later. There we go.
It looks like a nice, meaty rulebook. And what they start talking about here is that it actually has a whole bunch of lore in it. So one of the issues with the second edition rulebook is the lore was really light on. And I think, so here we go, 100 pages of lore. Because the second edition rulebook, from memory, and I could be wrong, I'm staring at it right now, I should be able to answer my own question, but it was pretty light on lore from memory, and I think the reason is they had all the black books had just come out, right? And if you wanted lore, you could go to those. Now, people obviously cannot get their hands on those books anymore, so if they want Heresy lore, they have to be bringing it out, and they've gone deep in. With this rulebook with lore. Apparently there's some new interesting things in there. I'll be reading that in-depthly. New things to learn. That's good to hear. So they're taking the lore in some new little directions while still covering the basics for new players. This set really feels like it's for new people to come into the Heresy, whereas second edition just didn't quite feel like that. It kind of felt like it was a bit of an add-on to the first edition. Now here we go. Now we start to see some stats. Like they're showing so much in this reveal. So here you got all the usual stuff up the top, and then things start getting a little wild. And this is actually rogue what's the word I'm looking for? Rogue Trader inspired stuff here. So they've got cool, they've got willpower, and they've got intelligence. And the reason they're doing this is they're trying to bring out the leadership characteristic and differentiate it across different types of troops and characters and abilities, which I think's really good. So the cool is all about how they fare under fire, how they handle pinning, which is really nice. So it allows armies to be better at not being pinned. We might see some of that come through in some Legion-specific rules that don't necessarily improve their leadership and make them better at rallying or not running away, etc., but make them better under fire, like Iron Warriors and who else? Iron Hands, Salamanders, Death Guard, etc. You've got the willpower, which is all about psychic tests. So you can have librarians who are really good at casting psychic powers, but not necessarily the most brave people in the world, right? So this differentiation, I think, is really good. Now, it does add quite a bit of complexity to the game. This intelligence, once again, you can have some tech marines, or that's not probably what I'm looking for, mechanicus, that are really good at using that intelligence to repair vehicles, but once again, aren't necessarily more brave than a praetor. So it allows them to differentiate between those different abilities. It never really made sense to use leadership for all of those things, and I'd love to see them breaking it out. I think it's a good idea. It will add some complexity, but like these are the first little snippets of rules we're getting for 3rd edition, and so far, it seems like some really intelligent and interesting ways of doing things. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit more. Hopefully that you've been able to hear me over the noise in the background, and it hasn't been making an absolute disaster of it, because that would have been very frustrating for you, but I've turned it down a little more. But yeah, no, I think this as a rule change, and if this is the kind of ideas they're coming to 3rd edition with, they've obviously really thought about it, and I think it's clever. I think it's good stuff. And we're about to see with the weapons as well, they're making some pretty good decisions all around. That it's from Rogue Trader, I think is really fun. That's nice to see. That Heresy is just about nostalgia, isn't it? It's nostalgia for 1st edition Heresy. It's nostalgia now for Rogue Trader. It's really for some of the older boys that enjoys those kind of things. And here we go. So these are the tokens that we've seen already, but they're not only objective markers in there. Oh, I don't even know if those are objective markers. The 1s and the 2s, maybe that's about how many points they work, or whether they're secondary or primary objectives, but they've got the other markers in here for the statuses. So they've broken, much like they've broken out the different stats around miniatures, they've now broken out the concept of pinning, breaking it out into pinning, suppressed, and stunned, so that your units aren't, from weapons that have those kind of effects, automatically just getting completely locked down now. I think there's going to be much fewer weapons with pinning, for instance, and maybe some others that are suppressing and stunning instead, so that it's making your units, it's degrading them, it's making them less effective, but not absolutely shutting them out of the game. So Games Workshop have listened to the feedback, is what I'm getting here, and this is slight assumptions on my part. But they've listened to the feedback, they've heard that pinning is too powerful, and they've broken it out, they've differentiated it to make sure that weapons still have this degrading effect, but without completely shutting down armies. And what this also does is bring different game styles and play styles and a much more tactical game to the table, in that killing things is not the be-all and end-all. Suppressing your army can have a similar effect. Now, we're moving fast here, people. We're now into weapons. We can see this all looks so strange, right? The range looks similar-ish. Armor piercing looks similar-ish, but here the FP is the amount of shots it has. That's fine. RS, that's firepower, if that's FP stands for. RS is range strength, so that's similar. That's the same. AP is the same, and they've added damage. Once again, I think this is a great idea. It allows you to differentiate between weapons that are meant to be shooting tanks and weapons that are meant to be shooting infantry, and doing it in an interesting way that means it's not just las cannon on las cannon action. The instant death rule will be interesting, how they play that out now, because they can actually they can get rid of it, right? And I think they should, because that just made those more elite armies so vulnerable, which is a shame, because Terminator on Terminator action is one of the things we're here for in the Heresy. But the prevalence of las cannons and the instant death rule just made them so vulnerable. But now they're fixing it, right? They're listening. They're making changes that look really positive. Then we get into the melee weapon piece, and I think this is so cool. So what they're doing is giving bonuses that then impact your existing characteristics. So IM is an initiative modifier there. Then you've got an attack modifier. A just means that's your basic attack, I guess, but then you can plus or minus. But the initiative modifier I think is so interesting, and what this means is that a Space Marine with a Power Fist in 2nd edition was swinging at the same time as just your basic peasant human with a Power Fist, which just didn't feel right. But this way, by having an initiative modifier, your Space Marine with a Power Fist is going to be swinging, likely, if their initiative is better than the human, and for the most part it is, if we're talking about basic soldiers here, they'll be swinging with their Power Fist before that human with a Power Fist, right? So now the melee piece comes down a lot more to the miniature that's utilizing it, as opposed to the weapon itself, which makes sense, because in melee, it's all about swinging that thing around as hard and as fast as you can, which a Space Marine is going to be far better at than a human. So all the rule changes that we've seen so far look really good. I'm really positive about them, and I know I'm a positive guy, but hey, if it looked terrible, I would be saying it looks terrible, and I don't think it does. I think they've really thought these rule changes through. I think they've put a lot of analysis into how 2nd edition was playing, and that's carried across into the 3rd game. This is the kind of instruction book that they're showing here. Wonderful. Follow this, people. These miniatures are so complicated in 2025. Certain legs will go with certain torsos, I have no doubt, much like the Mark 6 Marines. And yeah, you can get a bit creative. And you should. And you should snip things, and you should tear those miniatures apart and make all new ones and have a great time with it. Okay, here we are. We're into the Libras. Hereticus, Astartes. Yes, people, you will have to buy new books. Yes, it will be expensive. Yes, it hurts. I get it. I get why people are upset about this. Am I upset about it? I'll move on. I'll move on with my life. It means we get new rules, new fresh ways to play our legions, which I think we really need. I think things were starting to feel a bit stale with the legions, and these are going to add just a lot of new excitement to the game. So it is what it is. I'll be buying both of these. You better believe it, as I'm sure many of you will. And here's the other levers as well. So they're coming with 5 army books right from the get-go, which is awesome. We've got the main ones here. We've got the Solar Auxiliary. We've got the Mechanicum. Questoris is an interesting choice. And it looks like you'll be able to run just all knights if you're that way inclined, which I think you can in Heresy at the moment, but you have to pull off some shenanigans to do so. Now, they mention here, what about Talons of the Emperor? You're right. There's missing things here. Demons are another good example. Now, they don't specifically mention demons, but Talons in particular, they mention there will be a PDF that comes with its release. You will be able to play it. A little bit of a wait for the actual army book, but PDFs right from the start so that you can all play your armies. Now, they don't mention demons, but surely there will be a demon PDF that comes at the same time as the Talons. And we'll be able to play all of the armies right from the start. Thank goodness, because I know a lot of people were worried about that. And it looks like we can all relax our armies will be getting rules right from the get-go. If it is a PDF or not, that's fine, with the army books coming a little later on. This guy's wild. He's so much fun. He's having a great time. Look at that energy. Good for him. What he's doing here is giving everyone a bit of a breakdown of the lore, where it came from, how it went, and it's pretty great because the lore, and I love this focus on lore. You don't see this in 40k reveals, right? But there's just this amazing focus on lore in this Heresy reveal, which is fantastic because that's what Heresy is about. It's about the lore and bringing that lore out on the table. And I feel like they're really respecting that by telling people the avenues of which they can and should access the lore and just get into it. This encouragement just really, I think, gives the vibe for the game. Oh, someone's going to slow down that book flip, hey? And they're going to see some sneaky things. It's not me. It's not going to be me. I'll wait for someone else to do that. But here we've got Horus Rising sitting there. As I said, I've started reading that book again. It's just so good. That opening chapter. Oh, that's what hooked me. That's what hooks so many people. If you have not read the Horus Heresy series for whatever reason, whether you're an existing player of Heresy and you just haven't got round to it, or you're completely new to this whole 30k adventure, treat yourself. Find that book. Maybe it's for sale. Maybe they brought it back for sale on the website to go with all this, which would be so nice of them. If not, the audiobook's out there, just as good, if not better. Grab it, listen to it, read it, do whatever you can with it, because this is what will inspire you for your Heresy armies, and this is what should be inspiring you for your games. Heresy is all about the narrative, people. Yeah, look, I enjoy being competitive on the table. I'm not going to lie, I will build my armies to beat other armies, but it's bringing out the narrative while you're doing it that is what we're really here about for Heresy. That's the whole point. And their focus on it is, it's just so dignified and it's so respectful of how Heresy is a different game to their other gaming systems because it is about the lore. Good for you. Good for you, Games Workshop.
There we are. While we're talking about lore and things that are interesting, also coming out alongside Saturday is
Alright,
an amazing
what do we got?
map produced
What do we got next? A map. Look, sure. Alright, not the most exciting thing that we're going to see today, but who doesn't love a map? I have saying that, I haven't been impressed by Games Workshop maps before. I think I got the fold-up one for 2nd edition, and it came in like that weird fold-up book, and it was all creased, and I'm like, what is this? I think I looked at it once, and then I put it away. I'm like, not a fan. As opposed to those ones we get in the long boxes. I've got a few of them as well. This one's alright. I don't know. I'm not getting huge Heresy vibes from that. The colours give me a bit of a 40k vibe for it. I prefer your creams and your reds for Heresy maps. But this is interesting. This is huge. They're showing so much. So we've got a Journal Tactica, Isstvan 5 Dropsite Massacre. I love that that's where they're starting. I love that that's the vibe of this 3rd edition is all about starting at Isstvan and going from there. What do we get in this? We got lore. We get scenarios. It looks like we get rules for other units. Look at that. Crazy. What is this? Special rules. We get these asset things that they start talking about soon. We get more war gear. There's a lot of new content that looks like it's coming in these journal things here. And one of the biggest weaknesses of 2nd edition was the extra books that they then brought out. I'm staring at it now. Exemplary Battles of the Age of Darkness, Volume 1, which was that regurgitation of the Warhammer community articles that they put out with the units. And they were the units were terrible. The scenarios were just regurgitations of the free material that we'd already got online. Look at that. That's a new Whirlwind miniature, people. They don't mention that. That's a new plastic Whirlwind. Sneaky. They snuck that in there. But yeah, so the scenario books and the extra books that we got after the Libers and the main rulebook in 2nd edition was a real weakness of the edition. And I think that's what really killed my hype, was that the extra books they brought out kind of just sucked. And we didn't even, that exemplary battle piece after they brought out Volume 1, there was no Volume 2. It was such a flop that they're like, we have to stop. And what was there was an Emperor's Children one that was, the rules were just so bad. But that Journal Tactica, oh, sorry, we're already in the plastic Fellblade. Holy jeez. This is wild, and I called it right from the start, and that was when I was watching it live. I knew the second we saw that in the trailer, I'm like, we are getting a plastic Fellblade. And I love this little pause they put in here because they had to go find the plastic Fellblade, obviously, and bring it out onto their desk. This is crazy. It's a huge tank. It's in plastic. People have been talking about this. People have been saying it's coming. There's been rumors. People weren't 100% sure, though. We certainly hadn't seen it until this very moment. This reveal has so much stuff. Yes, we got the box set leaked. Maybe that killed the hype just a little. But this reveal, oh my goodness, it's brought it back. There it is. That is a good looking tank. And now, look, super heavy rules in 2nd edition were so average that I would not have got excited about this in 2nd edition. But with 3rd edition coming, and hopefully they've already looked at different kind of rules to improve them. Hopefully they've done the same with the super heavies. And the rules aren't terrible for them. And this Fellblade can actually do some work because that miniature is fantastic. It's not a miniature at that point. It's a big chunky boy. You need 2 hands to hold this boy. I love when they bring out the Predator soon to give you a comparison in size of it. But look how good it is. Plastic Fellblade, it's crazy, and that just means we are one step closer towards a plastic Thunderhawk, people. They are obviously pushing the absolute limit of what you can do with plastic miniatures and how big you can make these things. Now, it sounds like it's not going to come out with the new edition immediately. There's going to be a bit of a delay, which I think is absolutely fine. My wallet would not appreciate buying, no doubt, the extremely expensive box set and a Fellblade at the same time, so that's fine. And look at that size comparison. It is so big. Just for funsies, they pick that Predator up and put it on the barrels of it in a second. Yeah, there it goes. What fun. The guns are bigger than the Predator. Wild. Can you imagine putting a res in one of these together? And look, let me know in the comments if you have. But what an absolute nightmare that must have been. But this plastic boy, he looks like he's going to be a pleasure to put together. I'm all about big plastic tanks. I don't think I have at the moment a single super heavy tank because the rules were so terrible. Why would you? Except if you're in love with them and you're that way inclined. I'm more of an infantry kind of guy, but that Fellblade, I think that's gonna convince me. That's gonna be my first super heavy tank that I get into. Stunning. He is talking about the transfers. He's talking about the transfers here, and he reckons there's 1,172 transfers on the Saturnine transfers sheet. Madness. Iron Warriors and Salamanders players, here it is, are going to be so happy with this thing. This is kind of, I think this is like the first closer we've gotten of this transfer sheet. There is some cool looking stuff on there. Iron Warriors and Salamanders players. Oh, what a treat. So spoiled. If we could do that for the other legions, that'd be great. Thank you, Games Workshop. But no, that'd be too generous. We don't want to absolutely spoil people. They're not done yet, though. There's more coming. This reveal just kept going, people. It just kept going over and over. New stuff. Ooh, question corner. All right, they're back in. The main takeaway from this little question corner snippet was all about when should we expect to see some of the new rules besides the ones we've already seen. And what they've said here is that over the next few weeks, they'll be dropping little bits and bobs of new rules. I think we'll be seeing a lot of Warhammer community articles with little snippets of the new rules as they come, which I'm really excited about. I love doing those kind of videos of just the new rules and chatting through them as they come. So that will be great. Expect me talking at you repeatedly over the next few weeks in small little bits and pieces as those rules start flowing in, because I love looking at them, and what a fun way to learn about the new edition over time as we get there. And it's interesting, people complaining, they're like, why don't they just give us what we want to see? When we got that leak, it's like, no, just be patient. It's coming. They wanted to do this reveal first, and I get it. And this reveal did not disappoint. It was not diminished at all by those leaks that we got. Base sizing is what they're talking about here. They're saying there's 100 mil base for the Saturnine Dreadnought, so big, and 50 mil bases for the Saturnine Terminator, so a bit bigger bases for the Saturnine than your Cataphracti and your Tartarus, which makes complete sense. Give those boys space, right? Give them space to move. I I keep seeing they've got this scrolling in the background of the Mark II and the Fellblade. And we see, I think, an alternate head for a sergeant, for a Mark II sergeant there that we haven't seen in any of the other reveals that we've seen so far. Keep an eye on it in the background if they do it again. Are they going to? Are we going to see it? It's like a really cool bear head for the Mark II guy.
Okay, thanks for those questions.
No, I don't think we're going to see it again. Rewind and have a look at it. There's just so many little sneaky things they've hidden there. That plastic whirlwind in particular was so sneaky. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing when they snuck that little guy in. But I think a lot of people are going to miss that the first time they watch it. No doubt, of course. There's that bear head. Look at it. There it is. With a little bit of cybernetics going on by the looks of it. Very cool. What do we got here? All right. More animated Heresy goodness. This is from the first episode of, what is it? Kill Lupercal, I think's the name of it. Look at that missile launcher. So good. That's a big explosion from a tiny missile. And of course did absolutely nothing against the Titan, which is striding through them. So I don't think we've seen this before, this clip. We saw the preview of Kill Lupercal maybe a week ago or so, but it was not this. It had little bits and pieces of this, but this is a lot more than we've previously seen. So once again, this reveal show just showing us all kind of stuff. Yeah. She is unhappy at some traders. I think they said there was set at the Siege of Terra, and this is kind of the last march out of those loyalist Titans to have a crack and kill as many traders as they can. That last ditch attempt to try and kill Lupercal. But was he ever on Terra? I don't think so. Strange. Was he? In the comments, people, was Horus ever actually on Terra, or did he stay on his barge? Maybe he was there at the start and then he withdrew back up to his barge. Is that what happened? Man, I need to read those books again, and I will. I'm starting at Horus Rising. I'm going to read through the entire series. It's going to take me a year or two, but I've started the journey. But this looks sick. This is the first Horus Heresy animation that they've had come to Warhammer Plus. I may now actually have a reason to get Warhammer Plus, because this looks really cool. So there's Horus Heresy coming at us from all kinds of different angles, and Warhammer Plus, that animation, it looks pretty cool. Making it Titan focused, I don't know about that. That's an interesting choice. Why would you not make it like Primarch focused? But hopefully we get some sneaky Marines in there, and we get some Primarchs in there, and we get some good Heresy characters that we know and love, as opposed to just Titan action. I guess Titans would be easier to animate than a whole bunch of Marines, so maybe that's why they went in that direction. Or maybe they just think that we love Titans. And you know what? Maybe we do love Titans. Do I love Titans? Yeah, they're not my go-to, but there's plenty of people out there that froth some Titans. Right. What are we on to next? Oh, here, they're making a deal. Oh, my mouse is sneaking in. The deal they're making here is do not pester the community team about when these things are coming out. And we're going to show you some things that are coming in the far future that we had no idea were coming until this moment. Once again, this reveal is just bringing so much heresy to us that we had no idea about. Here we go. So this is, not the most exciting thing. We've got a tarantula sentry gun, I think here. It's a tarantula weapon platform. These are the little brothers, obviously, of the big one, the arachnid, whatever, that we're getting in the box set. Arachne? Is that what they're calling it? I don't know. Either way, Volkits on these things are fun. I don't think we've had that before. So it's more of that early heresy vibe. But it comes with melters as well. Las cannons. Heavy melters? Yeah. Very nice. So these are fine, right? They allow you to, if you want to go right down that gun platform vibe. But these are nice. So I've got a couple of little rapiers, and the miniatures, it's pretty dated, right? It looks a little bit sad, but these are neat. Look how adorable these are. What fun. At first I'm like, oh, they're only bringing out the Graviton and the Bolt version, but no, they're bringing out the other two as well. With I want to say the quad launcher and the laser destroyer. Sure, they're bringing those out as well. We'll see them in just a second. And what's really cool is the crew for these. So the original crew for these sentry guns were some strange looking miniatures. But look at these. How good do these guys look? They're like early kind of Tech Marine vibes with that hardened Mark IV armor, maybe is what we're talking about here. These are great. These are really different, really unique. I think they're going to look fantastic, especially in some Iron Warriors or some Iron Hands themes. Yeah, there we go. 2 different boxes of rapiers. They're going all out. These are what the other ones are built, which is nice. So all the options are going to be there. What fun. So they're really using 3rd edition to round out the Heresy range, and all those things we're missing, they're starting to bring through. Because wait for it. Wait for it, people. Oh, he is ready. Yeah, here it is. Oh my goodness. This is probably the second most exciting thing for me on this stream, is the Mark II Assault Marines. Look how big that axe is. Ridiculous. But look how good it looks. I love that gorget that he has going on around in front of his helmet there. But this style of jump pack for me is absolute pure Heresy. The Mark VI one, look, it's fine, but this is just absolute peak Heresy that we're seeing here. I do not have this style of jump marine, and after seeing this, I'm like, I have to get my hands on some of these boys. They look so good. Well done. Well done, Games Workshop. No one saw this coming. They did not have to do this. It's so cool.
Especially if you've gone for your kind of like 2s and 3s, very brutal.
And why are they showing this stuff? These guys probably aren't coming out for like 6 months. So everyone just hold your breath. And look at this. Here it is. We've been asking for it. We've been talking about it. People have been complaining about it. Maybe for 2 years at this point. Where are my damn plastic breaches? Here they are, people. Here they are. Once again, these are not coming immediately for 3rd edition. These will come in time. 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, however long it takes. But they are coming. We have a picture of them. It looks fantastic. Mark III, because of course it is. We have Mark III breaches in wonderful Iron Warrior theme there. Pure breacher shenanigans. Great to see. So they're really using 3rd edition to round out the Heresy range, bring us those things that we're missing. You know what we are still missing? Plastic land speeders, Games Workshop. That's the only thing I want out of Heresy that we have not seen in this reveal. But what's this? Now, what is this? Okay, this is a little sneaky snippet. I think it's a Terminator. Is that a Terminator hand with a Terminator kind of wrist and like Terminator knee pad that we can see there, holding Volkites? Volkites makes sense. Or is it like a destroyer that we're seeing? I'm convinced this is rescaled cataphracti Terminators that we're seeing here, because that's something they need to do as well, isn't it? Because with the new scale, which I think is great, of the Mark II and the Mark VI boys, those Terminators are looking a little small, and I think that's what we saw just then. If you think it's different, let me know in the comments. What else? What else we got? We've got here some Mechanicum. So good to see that they're not just focusing on the Marines. They're going to bring out some stuff from Mechanicum. This is kind of that crossover between 30k and 40k, isn't it? And it looks like it doesn't look like a character either. I think it looks kind of like a troop choice to me of some description. And then we've got a Custodian Spear here as well. So we know that we've got more plastic Custodians coming. At the moment, still so much of the Custodians units are in resin. So maybe this is a hint that we will see some of those Custodian units outside of their basic troops choices coming in plastic. So much. And that's everything. Look, it keeps going for a while. They replay the trailer. I'll just let it playing in the background. I'm gonna turn the sound down. Please excuse my mouse popping in there once again. But that's the reveal. That's the reveal show. Went for almost an hour. We saw so much stuff. We saw plastic breaches. We saw plastic Mark II Assault Marines. We saw all kinds of teasers. We saw the box set in its full glory. We saw those alternate sculpts for the characters, which I think are absolutely amazing. We saw the Saturnine live in person, not blurry. I think they look great. We got all kinds of different rules ideas, all of which is looking really positive. As a reveal show goes, the Dropsite Preview was a banger. 10 out of 10. This is the kind of positivity I'm talking about. This is the kind of hype. It feels so good to be able to be so positive and so excited for Heresy. So here we are. That's it. That's the reveal show. I've got so much more to say. I think I'm going to do another video about like the top 10 takeaways here so that people can watch that and not watch me rambling for so long on this. So that's coming. But if you've watched this entire thing, thank you so much. We'll call it there. Importantly, make sure to keep rolling those dice and getting hyped for Heresy.